What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 2 of the NIASIMONESPEAKS podcast. Today I have my friend Q with me, and we are going to be talking about, is it possible to grow as an individual while in a relationship? So just off bat, Q is on the both yes and no with this question. I'm on the firm yes with the but in there, but it does take discipline and I feel like it takes discipline and it takes motivation on part of the person that is seeking to grow. I feel like a lot of men use the excuse of they can't grow when they're with a woman, or they need to be alone to really work on themselves. But I feel like when they break up with a woman, or when they take that time to be alone, that time is never spent to actually improve themselves. They get lost in the sauce again. They get lost in the going back to their old ways. I feel like they get lost in the bullshit again. And when it's time for them to get back with someone, or when it's time for them to date again, they're the same person they was in their last relationship, or the same person they was before with you. That's just my take on men and that whole situation. I don't know. So Q says yes.
Yeah. I say, my viewpoint on it, I feel like, in terms of working on yourself, you gotta know how to juggle between both. If you're trying to work on yourself and you're in a relationship, you gotta know how to juggle both. You gotta know how to sit here and know the things you need to work on and work on these things, but also still put the same time, the same effort, and the same love to your significant other. You know what I mean? It ain't a trade-off for one or the other. You know what I mean? If you want to work on yourself, you're still supposed to be able to stay in this relationship and keep it a healthy relationship and still juggle both things. So it's a yes for me. And also, I feel like your significant other also got to be supportive of the things that you're trying to work on too.
Yeah.
That's real big on it. Because if they're not supportive of what you're trying to work on, then y'all just gonna be kind of like butting heads, So it's a yes, and it's like a no. As she said, I'm in the middle. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm leaning more towards yes, because I feel like you should. I feel like you should be able to juggle both. I feel like it's not that hard. But some people, they can't do it. For those reasons that I presented, even other reasons. People just have a hard time doing it. So, and that's them. But yeah. That's how I feel though.
All right, so why do you feel like most men miss that mark? So like when it's time for you to go and work on yourself, so to speak, they don't use that actual time. Is I need to work on myself an excuse?
I mean, because a lot of dudes,
it's like they go out and physically take that time and be by themselves, like, but they don't utilize it.
I mean, because you still got a lot of dudes they not there mentally. They still not grown yet. You know what I mean? They still not an adult yet. So, they don't really kind of know how the proper way to handle these things. They might see something, they might see and know it's something wrong with me that I need to work on, but they might not know how to work on these things. You know what I mean? So they know something wrong, and they know they want to take this time out to fix these things. But then when it gets to the point where it's like, okay, now it's time to work on it, it's like, damn, how?
They get lost in the sauce.
You know what I mean? They just get lost.
And that's the reason why I feel like it's best to work on whatever it is you need to work on as an individual with somebody. Unless you're disciplined enough to take that time and do it. Like for me, in my previous relationship, I had to take time to figure out shit from my childhood trauma. And I didn't go and take that time and fuck off or put myself back in another situation. I really took that time and was in solitude for real and just dealt with myself. But I feel like you can also do that with a person. But it's all on account of that person. It's easy for me to go and take 4 or 5 months and just really dive deep into myself, dive deep into my childhood trauma, dive deep into why I respond the way I respond to certain things. But I feel like on the end of men, y'all really struggle. And I don't know if it's y'all circles y'all around, if y'all like around a bunch of immature men that are, you know, also at the same vibration as you, like don't really have it all figured out. I don't know what it is, but I would say yes, like 100%. You can definitely work on yourself while being with somebody. But it just all comes down to your discipline and how committed you are to making stuff work. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can agree on that.
So
I can agree with that.
On the opposing view, I would say that the answer would be no for a person who just genuinely don't want to work on themselves. So if I'm begging somebody to be a good communicator and they like, okay, yeah, I'll go take this time. Let me go take some time to myself and figure out what's going on with my communication or go to therapy or whatever. And they don't really, I would say no for the people who don't see the situation as valuable. So if you got a girl that you with and she like, I need you to be a better communicator, go take some time. If you don't really want to be with her, you ain't gonna take that time and do what you want to do. Or do what you need to do.
In a sense, yeah. You ain't gonna take it too serious.
Right. So I feel like working on yourself while with somebody also depends on your commitment to them. Because you can remain being a man or a woman who your partner doesn't like and doing things that they don't like if you don't really care about them. Or some people self-sabotage. They don't care about themselves, so they going to continue. Just like the movie we was just watching, Menace to Society. Like, they just kept doing shit that they know was wrong.
Yeah.
With no desire to change.
Yeah. Yeah. But then, see, you can't be mad at a person who does want to make themselves better, and they also separate themselves to make themselves better. You can't really be mad at that because I'm sure that person knows, like, and they came to the understanding with themselves that I need this space and I need this time to myself to make myself better and focus on myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't really be mad at that person, and they might have reasons why too. You know what I mean? They could be, well, you know, it's just a lot going on in a relationship to where I can't even focus on myself because I'm so focused on so many other things that have to do with the relationship.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
getting lost in love, getting lost in the
you know. So you can't really be mad at the people who took that route and trying to make themselves better and secluding themselves.
But you can be mad at the people who seclude themselves and take that route and don't do shit.
Of course.
Don't do nothing.
Of course. That was the whole purpose.
Don't do nothing, and you
didn't do it.
That's their fault. To me, that's like walking around like a revolving door and never really going, because it got the entrance. You go in a revolving door. And they got the entrance for you to enter anywhere. Or you could just keep going around in that circle playing. And I feel like a lot of men, they be like, all right, I'm about to go walk through this revolving door to get to the other side, which is that growth. But they just continue to go around and around and around that revolving door.
They not men yet. They still.
And let me not say men. Let me say women too. People.
Yeah.
Because this is about, can you, you know, grow as a person with somebody else. Let me also throw in another point. I also think that it all comes down to, and I'm not even saying this in a biblical way. You know how people be like, you need to be equally yoked or unequally yoked and stuff like that. It just pretty much means you need somebody that's like on the same page as you. That's how I look at it. So you need somebody that's also, if you trying to grow individually, you need somebody else that look at themselves like, I need to grow too. Not somebody else just like, I got it, I'm good. It's you. You need to have somebody else that's like
somebody that's supportive.
Yeah, like you were saying, that support.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I could go off the deep end and continue to just drag men individually. Like, y'all just don't do it because y'all really don't, and it's like unfortunate. It's so crazy. Somebody was tweeting and they said women get out of a relationship and they got a new job, a new house, a new car, whatever. Mm-hmm. Like saying that as a metaphor, because when women get in situations where they got to grow, they really take that time and do it. And I feel like it's really a struggle on the part of men. And I really don't know if the common denominator is the people that surround them, or if it's just something inside themselves. I don't know if it's y'all friends or something inside of you.
Yeah, that's just something you got to come to an agreement with yourself. You feel what I'm saying? You got to come to an agreement with yourself. Like, all right, let me stop BSing. Let me stop BSing to myself, and let me actually work on these things that I know needs to be worked on. You know what I mean? That just comes with how much you respect yourself, honestly. You know? Or
how tired you are of whatever the situation is, where you think and see that you need growth.
Yeah. Like if you came to conclusions to yourself, like, I need to work on this, and this, but you don't do it or you don't work on it, I mean, that's your problem. That's your problem. You're going to be stuck in those revolving doors until you mature. Grow up.
Walking clean around a revolving door. I don't know.
Yeah, that's how it is. But it ain't just men, though. It's women, too.
So we both say the answer is yes, though.
Yes, you can.
You can.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
What do you mean to a certain extent?
To a certain extent. Yeah, you can do it if you feel like you can juggle both.
But it's not impossible.
No, it's not impossible. It's not impossible.
I think it's very possible. I think it's 100% possible.
You think it's 100% possible?
Yeah. What you think?
Now, what if, you say here you want to work on, let's say you want to work on your communication. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you tell that to your significant other, what you want to work on, and shit like that. I'm going to work on this, my communication between us. Personally, me, but just between us. And when you see yourself trying, your significant other, you just see yourself always, like, they always bickering back at you, or they always dogging you about the way you communicate.
But
like,
the thing is,
they're not supporting you. So
they don't have to support you, because the thing is, what are you doing? You're trying to grow individually. Mm-hmm. So working on yourself individually, they really don't involve the relationship. So even if they in your ear and they not being supportive of you, that shouldn't stunt your growth.
It shouldn't stunt your growth, but the sad fact is, it is going to stunt your growth just because this person means so much to you. So you expect them to be that support. If they know you sitting here working on something, you expect that significant other to be your support, with you trying to work on these things. But if they're not supporting you, instead they bashing you, or they not helping you in any type of way with this. You kind of get what I'm saying, though? Like,
I feel like it can. But I guess that goes back to what we were saying earlier. It is dependent upon your partner. Mm-hmm. But I feel like,
now it's not gonna be your partner.
But I feel like men, let me stop saying men, people lack accountability. So you could tell a woman, I can't grow with you. I can't grow with you right here, because all you're gonna do is nag me. But that nagging is trying to, push you. I don't know. It's like, for me, I just try to push everybody I'm around, like, to greatness. Like, all my friends, even in relationships, whatever. And then sometimes your growth can exceed somebody else's growth. Yeah. And then they like, well, you already there and I'm not there yet. Yeah. But I took that time to actually grow. And you took that time to walk around a revolving door. So it's like, sometimes you can exceed people. And I think that's where, I guess, the no can come in. Like, we both working on ourselves, or we both say we working on ourselves individually, but together. Mm-hmm. And I'm really over here doing it, and you bullshit. Then it's like,
you don't need to be with that person.
Then it's like,
you don't need to be with that person. If you don't see them growing.
Right. So the verdict is yes on the growing individually while with the person. The answer is yes.
Good.
The factors are dependent upon your partner, your willingness as a person. And what else? Let's see.
And your ability to handle it. Can you handle it?
Yeah.
Can you do it?
It's like, I feel like it really, to sum it up, it really just take a willing and mature person, like at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go ahead and just call a spade a spade. I feel like if you can't work on yourself out with a person, that says a lot about how much you really need to grow individually. Like, if I feel like I can't run next to somebody, if I feel like, if I'm on a track team, okay, you on a track team, and they got 3 of y'all going for one specific race, right? I can't keep up with the people going. What coach gonna do?
You're right.
He gonna pull you out, right?
You're right. But one thing you gotta keep in mind, though.
You gotta go back, do some more, stay a little late at practice, do some more, take some more time.
Yeah.
And then try to come back and run the race again.
Yeah. I was gonna say though, one thing that's good to keep in mind is that we still young, though.
True.
We still young. So
true. But let me interject, please.
I'm listening.
Because I hate when people try to use it as an excuse. We are still young, right?
Now hold on now.
No. We are still young. And people be like, oh, yeah, we got time. I hate that phrase. You never know. You never know. And what I was going to say is people try to use the excuse that we're young. So you still got time to do this, that, and the third. I feel like how complex, like really think about how complex and deep life is. Nobody will ever have anything figured out. Like, life is all about learning. Like this year, each year of your life, I swear you a different person, or new stuff, or every day, every second you learning something new. So I feel like your life is nonstop growing. Like when I talked to my grandma, her and my granddaddy been married since they was 17. They
still learning new stuff.
They 70 something.
Yeah.
You're going to always be learning new stuff about your partner. Your partner is always going to be growing in different ways. And that's as a person. That's not even in the relationship. Like me, for instance. I had a year where I was super Christian. I had a year where I was a hippie. I'm on my spirituals now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm always growing and evolving as an individual. Like, that shit is never going to stop. Even when you 80. Even when you 90. When you 50. So people can't use it excuse. We young, man. So you know what I'm saying. Nigga got time to fuck around doing.
But I brought up that we young, not as an excuse, but as this is just something that we need to keep in mind. When we dealing with the type of people who aren't mature on that level yet. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, I expect you to be mature. And I expect you, when you say something, to do it. When you say you want to work on something, to do it. But you also got to keep in mind when they don't do it to the extent that you thought, they were going to be, or they not working on themselves, at the pace that you would expect. You can't.
It ain't about pace. It's about effort.
Yeah, same thing. Pace and effort. You know what I mean? I'll say effort.
All
too.
right, but going back to the race, right? Them 3 people that signed up for the same one, and then Shorty slacking off, right? Or not slacking off, it's not keeping up, right? And she pull her back to do that work. I don't know if I can even say that.
But you see what I'm saying? How you
But
said,
okay,
but see,
okay, so you pull her back to do that work. But her effort when you pull her back to go take that time to work, that effort, it all comes down to that effort. So if she come back and she can't keep up, that effort wasn't really there.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say though is, don't just cut somebody off rip just because you see they're not making the effort that you expected.
Never that.
You know what I mean?
Never
don't
that.
just throw them off to the curb just because, you say you was going to work on this, but you ain't working on it as fast as I thought you was going to work on it. You know what I'm saying? You said you was going to work on the communication a year ago, and I only see a little improvements. No, I was expecting a whole 360 by this time. Like, nah,
it ain't
you can't
even
be
that.
like that.
It's effort. The E, that's it. Like, that's like, back to the track. Pull her out the race and make her stay 45 minutes after to do some extra drills.
Yeah.
And you watching her and motherfucker on Instagram the whole time. Or she supposed to be using that extra 45 minutes. And then when she get back to the race, still not keeping up, that effort wasn't there. So that's why I just keep saying it's that effort.
Yeah.
If a woman see you working or a man, you see your partner working, even if it's not moving at the pace you want it to, that acknowledgement is going to be there. Like, I see her working on herself. I see him working on himself. I don't even think it's going to get to the point where they're going to be worried about, well, shit, I'm already up there. I don't know. Life, you continuously growing. So I feel like it's always going to be something to work on. So I feel like individually, you're going to always have to be working on yourself as an individual. If you feel like you can't do that while in a relationship, you might as well separate yourself and be single 4L. Because it's always something to learn. You're going to always have to check yourself. You always going to make mistakes. Like, life is like, this shit so complex, bruh. You never going to have it goddamn figured out. You never going to have love figured out. You never going to have yourself figured out. Like, people still trying to figure out in their 50s what career path they want to do. These niggas been around a long ass time. Like, you always gonna be jumping through hoops. And I feel like if you can't do that with somebody, nigga, be single 4L.
So let me rephrase it then. So yes, somebody can work on themselves in a relationship, but it depends on their maturity level.
Yeah, that's what it come down to.
And we're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. All right, you guys. I hope you guys enjoy episode 2 of the NIASIMONESPEAKS podcast. This podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or you can watch it live on YouTube, which you probably are watching it live on YouTube. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening to Q. And we are sorry if you hear like a lot of stuff going on in the background. It's our first time using this location, and it's a lot going on. So hope you guys enjoy, and we will see you all, or I will see you all in the next podcast video.
Yep, and I'm going to catch y'all later.
Todd, can you play that again?